Oh yeah. Come on, don't be hypocritical. What were you thinking? You do it every day. This is a sensitive but essential topic I have chosen to write about today. By this, I humbly implore you to arm yourself to the teeth and get accustomed to this explicitly delicate subject many people needlessly shy away from. Sexual intercourse still maintains its meaning today as the act involving the piercing of the female genitalia by a direct blood-filled intromittent male organ. Yes. Were you expecting a science student like me to define sex as the penetration of the vagina by the penis? Oh no. However, it should be noted with due respect that the above description of sex is just by choice. Lesbians, gays, bisexuals and transgenders, LGBTs, are also free to define sex in whatever ways they like. We would absolutely love it. Lest I digress, let us now quickly dive into my narrative about my sexual encounter with a bitch. It all started way back in the senior high school level. There, we were caged like zoo animals, and we rarely had chances of leaving the school premises, except on midterm breaks and vacations. In the light of this, attending a gender-segregated school like ours coerced our boys to maximally utilize vacations to their full advantage. So what did we do on vacations? Obviously, we did what we weren't getting chances to do when we were on campus, namely, socializing with friends of the opposite sex and whatnots. During one of our midterm breaks, I embarked on my usual strolls around my hometown. It was a beautiful Sunday evening. On my way to a drinking spot in Candiga, I bumped into a cute and hot lady by name, Bella. She was so sultry, but later on, I realized she was such a slut. Trust me, you wouldn't last a microsecond inside that pussy. After exchanging pleasantries with each other, I was so infatuated with this girl that she quickly became a soulmate. Bella and I became so close, and we frequently paid surprise visits to each other. On one fateful day, my pretty girlfriend came to my house. It was left with about 2 days before school resumed. In my room, and on my bed, we drank beer and caressed each other. She wore a pair of skinny black trousers, which carefully traced her sexy outlook, exposing her huge bumps behind. Damn, what was I seeing? All this while, my manhood became so energetic deep down there, waiting to deliver serious hammer blows to that sweet spot. It was time to proceed to another game, aside the boring conversations. I kissed her passionately and began undressing her. You should have been there to see things. Her pussy lips and her ass were in shape, likewise her fashionable boobs which stood helplessly on her bosom, defying gravity. I was so impatient that I mounted this girl and started digging her mercilessly. Her screams were so melodic and they became music to my ears. As a scientist, I made sure we didn't violate the law of conservation of energy, so I converted all her sound energy into mechanical energy and did more work. I was basking in a plethora of feelings I never saw in my entire life. It was only on that day I realized God is great. While I pounded her tight pussy, I perspirated so profusely. In the heat of the moment, I began to notice a sudden change in my movements, then I wondered what explosion was about to happen. The energy buildup became so massive that I couldn't suppress it any longer, and then a thick whitish and slimy fluid gushed out my urethra. Ha ha. Wow. The feeling was so intense than ever before. I literally thought it was my last day on the planet. While the flow continued, I wore an ugly facial contortion. At long last, the pleasurable flow took a break and my feelings went to the ground state. I knew I had reached the climax of the activity I so much desired. We then parted ways and I went back to school. Mission accomplished. Thanks for reading. This great audio article was brought to you by ExplicitArticles.com. I hope you enjoy this interesting piece. Please share it.